What's up, you guys? It's Sarah at carnivore.yogi on Instagram. Thank you so much for coming on to my YouTube channel. Please hit subscribe while you're here. So today I'm going to talk about why I have switched up the way that I'm doing the carnivore diet. And yes, I'm still doing the carnivore diet. Sorry for the clickbaity title. I hope you guys can forgive me. But why I have switched this up. I'm no longer doing a high protein, so 2 pounds plus of meat per day. I'm doing a high fat version. I'm going to talk about some of the symptoms I experienced in my body, as well as some different testing metrics that I use, some stuff that you guys can use at home, how all that works. And then I'm going to talk about what I'm now doing, how that all works. So stay tuned for the whole video. But to jump in first, before I get into all that stuff, I just want to express that I'm not a doctor or nutritionist. This is not medical advice. And I'm definitely not refuting anybody else out there that is eating 2 pounds of meat per day. There are people out there that are doing it. They say they feel great, they look great, and so I have no reason to argue with them at all. So I am not saying, oh, all those people must feel like crap and I'd like to see their blood work or whatever. That's none of my business, to be honest with you guys. If they say they're feeling great, I have no reason not to believe them. And I'm also going to have a doctor on here in the next couple of weeks, a doctor you guys all know, to ask that doctor particularly, why do you think some people really do well on a high protein carnivore diet and some people like me have issues doing a high protein diet? So I'll get some medical advice that doesn't come from me to hopefully deliver to you guys, give you guys some answers. And as always, comment below if there's a question you have. I probably will not be able to give you the answer, but I can find it, right? I can have that person on my show and open up dialogue, open up a conversation. So let me jump in. So first of all, symptoms that I started having that led me to switch over. To back up with you guys, I did a video about cheating because there has been a little speculation of, oh, you were cheating, that's why you're having these problems. No, I did a 75-day carnivore challenge that started in October. And since the challenge started, I've had one Quest bar, which was in February, the lone Quest bar of February, which I don't recommend because all it did was set off triggers and cravings in my brain. And the month before I started that challenge, I had a little issue with some Rebel Creamery and Quest bars. I did a whole video that talks extensively about cheating on the carnivore diet and why I don't necessarily recommend it. So just to get that out of the way. So essentially, I was doing this challenge. I was super strict. I even decided to drop eggs. So my, fat protein changed even more because there were no eggs in there, and it was ribeye mostly. So that's usually about a 55-45 fat protein ratio, unless you get a super, super fatty ribeye. And I do like to eat grass-fed, so grass-fed is going to have a lot less fat on it naturally. So that's where I was at. That's what I was eating, and I felt really good for a little bit. And I was like, all these other people are having all these great results from beef on water only, and I'm doing it, and I feel good. And then boom, I stopped sleeping. And then boom, I started gaining weight. And the weight gain kind of just didn't even really make sense. It would be like, oh, I ate the same thing all last week as I did this week, but this week I'm 10 or 15 pounds heavier. So my weight was just all over the place. It was not stable. And then to make it worse, I started having hypoglycemia type of episode. So I'll link a video below this video about hypoglycemia. Amy Berger has a really great explanation on hypoglycemia. I think you guys should watch it. But I started having a lot of those symptoms. And she says in the video, symptoms are going to be your main thing, because you can sit here and this is a testing metric, check your Keto Mojo, check those numbers, and you may not be able to kind of get from that. And that's a meter. It's not worn on your body. I'll talk about that in a second. But she explains it very well, how it's largely symptom-based. But I was hangry, which I hadn't been hangry since I started carnivore. I was like, why am I getting hangry? I would get ravenously hungry. My weight wasn't stabilizing. I started having kidney problems. Now, that's a whole other video. There's a dehydration video. I think that the dehydration and oversalt was also wearing on my kidneys. I just did a retest for my kidneys using one of my sponsors here, which is Let's Get Checked. So I just retested my kidneys. I will be showing you guys those results soon. The other thing is the testing metrics that I use. Speaking of testing metrics, so you can use a Keto Mojo. I'm not affiliated with them. I'll put a link below this to that. And I had a continuous glucose monitor. So the monitor data was a little bit tricky because during the day it stayed pretty stable, 70s, 80s. pretty much within there. It didn't really move a lot, but so I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. But when I hired a coach, because I was having all these problems, the weight gain, the hangry episodes, the like something just doesn't feel right, but I'm not having all these other problems that I was having before carnivore, so I'm not willing to give up. I still feel so good in so many ways, but like this stuff's really starting to be a problem for me, and then the kidney stuff, I was like, oh, this is not good. So I hired a coach, and she's like, let me look at that continuous glucose monitor data, because I had data from December, from January, and February, so it was like 3 months of data. She sat down and she was like, did you know that your blood sugar was going into the 100s plus every night? Did you know that? So I'll show you guys here what that looks like. So during the night, it was going up. One night it was up to like 120. And I look back on the food logs, because I logged all of my food during this time, and I was averaging, around 2,000 calories a day. I'm 5'7", almost 5'8". I'm not a tiny petite person, but I'm in pretty good shape, so that's not a lot of calories for me. Someone who's physically active, I'm a yoga teacher, that's not too many calories. I shouldn't be waking up 15 pounds heavier. Just doesn't make sense. So she, some of y'all know my coach. She was like losing her mind over this data. So I also took it to a couple of other people that, are not even low carb or keto. A friend of mine's a nurse practitioner. Another friend of mine is a doctor. So those two people are objective, and they both kind of confirmed for me, this is not good. This is not good. The other thing I did was I retested my A1C. My A1C went up, you guys, and I used Let's Get Checked, again, who I just mentioned. They are a sponsor of mine. You don't have to use Let's Get Checked to get your A1C checked, but it's super convenient because it's like $49. Ship it to your house, prick your finger, send the blood back off. You can also go to your doctor, but it's convenient. So my A1C went up, went from 4.8 up to 5.2. And I was like, okay. So again, those are some testing metrics that I use to kind of confirm my symptoms. So go by your symptoms, but these things are super handy, and work with somebody. So I know I keep saying that, but to have a coach for me has been absolutely invaluable, because it's like I'm having all these problems. She's kind of confirming it and saying that's not normal. And she's helped me to stay pretty much carnivore. Now, I have had the odd avocado here and there. I was eating them every day. And I still have an avocado like every other day for the potassium, but I do plan on dropping that out eventually as soon as I can get all of my electrolytes back in balance to a place where I feel really good. I'm going to try to do without those avocados, but it doesn't make you a bad person to eat avocados, by the way, or any plant for that matter. What you eat doesn't make you a good or bad person. So, all right, sorry, tangent there. But essentially, those blood sugar numbers going up overnight, I was waking up all night. That's cortisol, and that's glucose shooting through your blood. And if you're eating zero carbs, that's your body doing it, and that can cause issues. So I'll put some more resources under the video as to why that can cause issues, why it's not healthy for it to be happening every single night. Like gluconeogenesis is an adaptation, and it does serve a good purpose. However, it should not be happening every single night. And then if your symptoms are like, oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight, I don't feel good. I hear a lot of people say, I'm gaining weight on carnivore, I'm gaining weight on carnivore. And for the longest time, the thing to say is eat more meat. And I actually did a video earlier this year that talked about that, which I took down. And I've taken down a lot of my videos where I'm eating the 2.5 pounds plus of meat, or 2 pounds of meat per day. I took down those, and it wasn't to like not be transparent, or if I was trying to not be transparent, I wouldn't just have told you that. But I don't want people coming on my channel and thinking that's what I eat and that's what I do. It's what I did, and it was not good for me. It did not work well for me. And as I explained earlier, it is working okay for some people, working great for some people. They've got their stories out there. I will interview some of them. I will love to bring them on my channel. I had Kelly Hogan on. She's a 2 pound of meat person per day, does great on it. And I'm not calling her a liar. She's a saint. Like, I would never do that. Anyway, so that's my point here with the meat. Now, how am I doing this? So you're going to want to tune in. Today is Tuesday, March the 10th. Thursday, March the 12th, I have like a 5 or 6 minute long video I will drop giving you guys the specifics on how I'm doing this, because I have tried to do a high fat version of carnivore before, and I just had to get help. I had to get a coach. You may not need it, but for me, I had to have someone be like, you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna eat it this time, and then it's gonna work that way, and that's how much, and so that helped me a lot. And from that video, the other reason I was hesitant to do it is, again, why I deleted those other videos. may not work for you, may be a disaster for you. So just keep that in mind, you guys. Stay objective. Do your own testing. You know, you don't necessarily have to get lab testing done, but sometimes it's really good to confirm your symptoms, right? My kidney symptoms. Really want to stay on top of that and confirm that. So anyway, I think I have said enough for this video. Make sure you're subscribed so you can get the next video, and stay tuned for conversations I'm going to have with doctors on this very topic because, again, I'm not an expert here, but there are experts out there who might have a better answer. So thank you guys again for coming on to my channel, for tuning in, and have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, guys.